Welcome to our Supplier Conference. We had 130 sign up, but almost twice the numbers showed up, so good for you. I trust that everybody signed in at one of the two booths out front. Did y'all do that? Okay. We are grateful to President John Peters of NIU for hosting us today. The last time we were here, we had a town meeting involving health care. So I expect you guys to behave, all right? That was pretty well. We had about 1,400 people showed up for a seating for about 350. And that was interesting. I also want to thank Rockford Economic Development Council and the McHenry County Economic Development Corporation for helping to put on this seminar this morning. Nippon Sharyo President and CEO Kevin Koyasu is here, and I'll be turning over the podium to him in just a minute as soon as I finish with the introductory remarks. And Vice President Frank Wojcicki and their staff, I want to thank both of them for organizing today's event and for their willingness to use local. Local does not mean St. Louis. It doesn't mean Kansas City. Local means Illinois. Now you better applaud for that because we want to make sure that we have we're thrilled that Nippon Sharyo has chosen our congressional district to put their latest facility. And the event today is about jobs and to help our struggling residents to get back to work. And going over the bios that many of you sent in your websites, so we have people here from all different types of services, security services, employment services, insurance services, to people that actually would provide consulting and materials and products to be incorporated into the building. There are also some people here who are looking for a job at the new facility. And I would encourage you to take the time to not only talk to the people from Nippon, but to talk to each other. We've had conferences with, supplier conferences with Boeing and GE Aviation. And what's amazing at many of those, several people have gotten contracts with the main supplier, but many people had no idea that the person next to whom they were seated actually had a product or a service that they could use in their own business. So we encourage you to sell to Nippon Sharyo and also to sell and buy from each other. That's one of the reasons we put this together. Nippon Sharyo will be building passenger rail cars for Metro, Chicago, and they've also received business from the Los Angeles Transit Agency as well as Canada. It's a new company with a bright future, and Frank and Kevin can give you in detailed depth the excitement that's going on there in Rochelle. This is the third global manufacturer supplier conference that we put on. We had GE Aerospace put on a conference. How many here were there at that? Good. And how many were at the Boeing? Okay. Now, somewhere along the line, we need everybody's email addresses because what we do is when we bring in a major supplier like this, we just fire out emails to everybody who's involved, and it's interesting to see who's showing up. I chaired the House Manufacturing Caucus along with Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, so he also knows something about high and chronic unemployment. And our caucus is now at 80. We expect it to grow to about 130 or 140. And these are members of Congress from all over the country that have a distinct interest in keeping manufacturing here in the United States. Nippon Sharyo is a Japanese company. What they're doing here is something called foreign direct investment. It's money from a foreign country being invested in the United States for the purpose of creating manufacturing jobs here. It's important to remember that term because so often members of Congress and people in the White House, regardless of parties, simply do not understand the impact of foreign direct investment. In fact, an interesting story is that two fellows started TNC Cracker Company here in Rockford. It's the only company in America that makes rice crackers. But they knew that to be successful, they needed a Japanese partner. because nobody understands rice crackers as the Japanese. And so the company actually got bought out by Mitsubishi, the same company that makes rockets. Has invested heavily here in Rockford in that rice cracker facility. So this is really exciting to see people from foreign countries coming to the United States, making massive investments here for the purpose of creating a manufacturing imprint here in this country. The other thing that we have found out is, and especially with Japanese companies, is their penchant to use American products. They get it. They understand that whenever they do something in their plant and use an American product, that the people making those products are the very ones that will be buying those products. And it's interesting to see the model that the Europeans and the Japanese especially have set up, and we can see the evidence here in Rockford. And so I'm going to turn over everything to Kevin. And Kevin, if you want to come up here and take over, I'll be sticking around a few minutes, and I have to go back to Washington for a continuation of Star Wars back there. But Kevin, thank you very much for coming here. We appreciate it very much.